Hello and welcome back to my garden. As many of you may have noticed, I did not do a video on Monday, and that's because I was up north visiting my sister. So while visiting my sister, she asked if I wanted to go over to Longwood Gardens. So I knew about Longwood Gardens. I had seen it in different videos. Erin the Impatient Gardener, she went there a few years back, and she said how much fun it was and how spectacular it was. So I said, sure, let's go. And I wasn't that excited. You can call me Mr. Grumpy if you want, but I didn't really know. Again, I'd seen pictures, I'd seen photo videos, but I didn't know what I was really going to see or experience. So on the ride over, I was looking at the map and trying to figure out where it was I wanted to go. And looking at the map, there's different districts and different areas to the garden, and the largest concentration of stuff to me looked like it was to the left of the entrance after you got through the visitor center. So that's what we did. We went in, hooked the left, walked up a very slight incline to the first stop was the Rose Garden. The Rose Garden itself was spectacular. Unfortunately, I only took the one picture of the Rose Garden. There was so many plants there, so many great ideas, different plant combinations, and this theme repeats itself throughout the garden. And almost everywhere you looked, there was an awesome view. In fact, when I was standing, I think it was just at the entrance to the topiary garden, you could see the main conservatory. Spectacular. And this is another common theme throughout the gardens themselves, is almost everywhere you look, there is a view. It could be a view of trees on the other side of one of their lawns, but the trees aren't just oaks or maples. There's other varieties or other species of trees in and amongst them with different colors. There were several trees that were, and unfortunately I didn't take a picture, but the leaves were almost a purple. And they looked very, very beautiful. You look at a different way, and then there's this tower. Again, I didn't take a picture, I'm sorry, but it's part of another district or another area of the garden. And then one of the main features of the garden, which I'll post up several pictures here, are the fountains. And some people just go to see the fountains, and the fountains are beautiful. And if I had more time, I would spend more time milling about the fountains, looking at the fountains and staring at the fountains. On the way to the conservatory, we sort of went the long way. It was in one of the lower fountain garden areas. I was just awed and amazed by this beautiful avenue of trees. They have these trees. Everything there is, again, it goes back to the views. So everywhere you look, every time you turn your head, you're looking at a view of something. So down and around the fountains, they have beautiful hedging, topiary, and of course, the beautiful avenues of trees, which adds structure to the area. It really it's magnificent. They also had beautiful smaller fountains within the bigger fountain areas. I didn't take pictures of those either, just beautiful. So my main focus was to get to the conservatories. I believe Erin the Impatient Gardener said this is one of the places you really have to go. But we got into the conservatory, I hooked a right, and we just started walking. And it just, everywhere you looked, beautiful. They had vines growing up. I didn't take pictures of everything because because I wanted to look at the plants, and I wanted to enjoy the ambiance of the space, because they had fountains there. They have rills moving through the area, and there's a sound of water. But the views were just incredible. Again, the plants were intense. And one of the things that struck me early on was they had a sign telling you how to read a plant label. Now, this may seem silly, but if you're not a gardener, or if you've never been to a botanical garden, or you've never understood what all that gibberish on a plant label may be other than the common name, then something like a sign like this is just so helpful. And that was one of the things that we noticed throughout the place. It was just the little details, the helpful signs, the staff. Right outside the main conservatory, they had, I believe it's called the Lily Garden. Let me just check the map here. The Water Lily Court. This was apparently the first year it was open. I believe it was completed last year along with the West Conservatory. But the Lily Court was just, I don't know, words don't do it justice. It was absolutely beautiful. There was a center water feature where it had a bunch of lilies, and there were some plantings in the middle to add some height to the space. And then I believe there were two larger water areas to either side on either end of the courtyard, but breaking up those spaces were bog planting areas. So these were areas that You would have things like elephant ears, which can't grow completely in water. They need some soil, but they do enjoy having their feet wet, so they would grow commonly in a bog area. So many other plants. The views, again, just magnificent, and the space was so large. It was just incredible. Then they just completed last year the West Conservatory. Now, the West Conservatory is a more modern building, but it's still beautiful. It's pretty. It's very large. When you go in, once again, just awed at the size and all the plants they have the space filled with. And the general theme, I didn't realize until I got further in, was a Mediterranean garden, or Mediterranean plants and plantings. So palm trees, agapanthus, there was a ton of plants I never even heard of in this space, which was magnificent. And again, more water features, rills, that kind of thing. Just absolutely stunning and absolutely beautiful. Then outside of the West Conservatory are some more new spaces that they've added to the garden, which is the first one was the bonsai garden. Now, many of you have probably seen bonsai trees before. They're just short, well-cropped trees in small bowls or dishes or pots. And I'm trying my hand at a little bonsai myself this year. It's not going so great, but that'll be for another video. But these trees were just spectacular. You could see the artistry, the craftsmanship, and then what really blew my mind was on the plant tags. Not only did they have the scientific name of the plant and the common name, they had the year that the plant started its training. So one plant I saw was 1909. Think about that. That's a plant that's over 100 years old. That's just, to me, that's just, and it still looks healthy, it still looks beautiful. It's like a living piece of art, the artistic look of it. And they have signs there explaining the different styles of bonsai. I didn't know there were different styles, but so that in itself was very, very fun. Next to that, I didn't take any pictures, but there was another new garden area called the Cascade Garden. Now this is sort of a two-story facility, and you can walk up or you can walk down. We started at the top and then we worked our way down. And it's sort of a corkscrew path. And when you come in, it's a very hot space. It's filled with very tropical plants and a lot of artificial or even real rock walls. And you could see ferns growing out of the rocks, out of the rock walls. There's plants that are hanging over and draping, and it was a really neat space. And I would have loved to spend more time there. But again, there was so much to see. So our next stop was over towards the Idea Garden. And the Idea Garden is filled with a lot of common plants that you may grow in your own gardens, hydrangeas, roses. I believe there was some amaranth. There was a bunch of plants. I didn't take a lot of photos in this space either because I just really wanted to enjoy everything that was going on and not take 100,000 photos there. But it was a lot of common everyday plants, but they put them in sometimes combinations or groupings together that you may not have thought of, or you may even have in your own garden. It's the whole sort of, I guess, the point of ideas, give you different ideas of maybe what you can do in your garden. Behind that was the vegetable garden, and the vegetable garden, another spectacular space. It's not all vegetables. There were a lot of flowers in this space too. There's just so much to see, and sometimes how they interplanted, they did companion planting of the various vegetables and then some flowers. You see how they built various trellises for the different plants. It was just incredible. Afterwards, we had to get something to eat. We were tired, we were hungry. As you walk towards the food courts, you're between the fountains and the conservatories, and again, the fountains are just beautiful. From my understanding, they're going all day long in to one degree or another. My understanding too is at nighttime they do light displays, and then sometimes during the year, I believe they also do, I don't think they do it every night, but maybe I'm wrong, they do firework displays, which again is also, I'm sure it's spectacular and beautiful. After the food court, we were all, again, pretty tired, getting old, but there was still so much to see. Again, we barely covered half the gardens. Again, just too much to see. So I decided that I definitely wanted to see a couple other areas in the garden. The next stop in our journey, which was the flower walk. Again, didn't really take any pictures of the area, but it was absolutely beautiful. Flower beds along a long walk, had to be a couple of 100 feet at least, and they were just packed with flowers. So that was really fun and extraordinary. Just next to the flower walk were two more gardens, which sadly we missed out on. One was the wisteria. All the wisteria flowers were gone. And the other one was the peony garden. And the peony garden, large, magnificent, beautiful peonies. Unfortunately, all the flowers were gone. These plants are all flowered. We hit the main road, sort of heading back up towards the visitor center. And I turned around and I noticed that even this area, where it's just a general walkway, is just, it's a view. The avenue itself is flanked by large hedges, and underneath those hedges, or alongside of those hedges, are various plantings along the way. Just, again, magnificent views almost wherever you look. It was just very beautiful and very, 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 very awesome. I don't know, have I said very much? It was a fantastic day. I posted a picture up on Instagram. I stopped at the gift shop there. I picked myself up a couple of items. One of them was a coffee mug here that you could probably buy elsewhere, but it had the Longwood Garden logo on it, which was really fun. And I bought a book specifically on the fountains of Longwood. And when I saw the book about the fountains and looking at a sample that they had out, it covers the whole history of the gardens and how the fountains came to be and all that other good stuff. So I haven't read it yet. I haven't opened up my copy yet, but I will soon, probably sometime this week. And overall, it was just a really awesome and magnificent day. I'm using these big words because that's what it was. It was a big day. I haven't been so excited since, I don't even think I was excited this much when I went to Disney World. That's how much this place was. This is how this place hit me. It was beyond exciting. Maybe now that I'm a gardener, I have a greater appreciation of all the things garden related, but I was awed and amazed by the size of some of the specimen trees they had, and they had a ton of specimen trees. I could spend an entire day looking at all the specimen trees they had. All the gardens were well maintained and well taken care of. If you've never been to Longwood Gardens and you get the opportunity, you really should go. I've been to other botanical gardens. Nothing has hit me like this before. The size of it, the scale of it, the grandeur of it, the variety of plants, the atmosphere. It was just incredible. If you're still with me, thank you for listening to me babble on about the Longwood Gardens. If you've gone, leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts, feelings, and impressions were of the gardens. Hopefully Friday there'll be a new video. I still have plants on the potting bench that I want to get planted out into the garden. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. This way you don't miss anything that I'm doing here out in the garden. It is really hot here, even in the shade, and I still have the lawn to mow in the sun. Not looking forward to that. Maybe I'll wait till the sun starts setting. With all that being said, I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.